Ba 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 ba
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
ba.
Right then.
Do you have an intro?
Boom.
Yeah, like, hello, welcome to the Narelle Show.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...
There's an intro piece that comes out. Have you not seen my intro?
No, I've not watched it. I watched.
You haven't watched any of them.
What's
Such
the
a good
name?
friend.
I got sent one.
You got sent one of our podcasts.
Yes.
Did you? By whom? Were they moaning about the audio?
No.
Look at this shit, Drew.
Who sent me it? My brain's been frazzled over the last month. We'll get there later.
What, your brain frazzled?
But I was like, I got sent a video and I was like, I'm going to watch it, but I haven't had the chance to watch it. But I'm going to watch it tonight.
Do you want me to show you the intro?
No, so I believe the intro's good.
Well, no, but you want about an intro where I say something?
Yeah, like, hello, welcome to the Narelle Show.
Yeah, I need to come up with... You can help me with this, actually, with your creative brain. I need a name for the show.
What is it on YouTube?
Well, no, so I'm watching this Netflix series, actually, at the minute, which is about two girls that do a podcast.
I know the exact one you're on about.
No, it's like a date...
I watched it, I finished it.
You don't want this?
Kirsten.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You don't want this?
Yeah.
I finished it.
Love it. I absolutely loved it. First of all,
Don't say anything.
First of all, she's one of my favorite actors.
Oh, is she?
I think she's great. Have you watched The Good Place?
No. Yes, is that the one with the God and that?
Yeah. So obviously she's in that.
Yes.
And I love that. And now I'm watching this. There's quite a few of them that are in this. I'm not going to give anything away, but
Please
I really
don't.
enjoyed it. Really enjoyed that.
I'm
series.
enjoying it.
And now it's
couch.
finished. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for season 2. It was like a nice easy watch, like something that you could put on 20-minute episodes or so, 25 minute. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, and the good thing about Netflix, you can just binge, innit?
Yeah, and also
It's a problem though as well because it just goes into the next
Yeah,
one.
but I really like that, like modern day rom-coms, like having watched Notting Hill, where it's like, have you seen Notting Hill?
Yeah.
So obviously Notting Hill is
Years ago.
It's a classic rom-com though,
Yeah.
in the sense that like at the end they all live happily ever after and they kiss and blah blah. And it's like
Are you about to tell me that it doesn't?
No. I'm not saying
You
that.
suck.
But what I'm saying is like modern rom-coms are so much more like there's so much more depth in them. It's not like a simple like man gets woman and they kiss and blah, blah.
Everything's happening.
It's way more like emotion and like real life stuff in modern rom-coms as opposed to like I still love those old school rom-coms, but like you couldn't make an old school rom-com today. Unless you have one of those like really cheesy Channel 5 Christmas movies where it's like, and it snowed and Santa Claus saved the day. You know, Mrs. Claus managed to get the presents out. You know, one of those. It's like, yeah, you can watch those fine. But like modern rom-coms, you want them to like have a bit more depth, you know?
Well, there we have it.
Sorry, this isn't
there
like
we have it, people.
This
Property
isn't a... Yeah. Welcome to the Property Podcast. Yeah.
We like up-to-date rom-coms, not all. Oh, God.
Yeah.
No, so what was the key information we were going to try and... Investors.
Investors. Yeah.
Investors.
Good place to start.
Yes. So I've had some good news lately.
Okay.
So my childhood dentist has just put 65 grand into us. And he's got more available. So he wants to see the first one pay
Test
off.
the waters.
Yeah, test the waters. Dip his toe in.
Yeah.
Which
Little
is good.
65k.
Yeah. Little, as you do.
Just money I'm not free to lose.
And then we got a call off of a girl I met at doing the inner circle speaking. She's an introducer, if you will, for investors. So she had someone in mind when she met me, and I did my speech and talk. So I was talking about how we had multiple plates spinning, that we never just have one project, and that's actually helped us because if we come to the end of an investor's term and the project they put the money into hasn't ended, but something else has, we can use that money to cover that. So I was explaining how that all works and that having multiple plates is beneficial for us. And a lot of people are scared to do more than one project, right? And that's one of the main questions I get all the time. It's like, how do you do multiple projects and stay on top of it, sort of thing. So she came to me. She said, I've got an investor in mind for you. He's got 250 grand plus. I was like, great, sounds great. Like, make the introduction, pay whatever you want. So she's getting a fee for introducing us. He wants somebody who has multiple plates spinning. I said, I'm your girl. I was like, it's exactly how we roll. That's how we operate. I said, and I explained it. I explained that like we never get caught out because we've always got fingers in lots of pies, basically. And that's why we haven't failed to pay anyone back yet, which is a good thing for me, right?
Always finger in pies.
Yeah, I love it.
It was there. Do you know what? I really tried. I really tried to not do it. But as soon as you said it, it was like bing in my head. And I was like, no, don't say it. This is serious podcast.
Well, we can have fun. So all those fingers and all those pies. He loved that. And he wanted someone with fingers and all the pies. I bet he did. Yeah, so I explained the project that I had in mind for him because we're putting an offer in, subject to planning, of 1.15. So 250 grand covers majority of the deposit. Yeah. Right? So it's perfect. He's a seasoned investor. He's done property himself, real estate or whatever. And he knows what he's talking about. So we offered him 20% because we're trying to bring that 25 down a bit. We've been doing 25% for a long time, and we started with 25 because we were new, right? So we were offering, we were offering people stupid returns. 20% is still banging.
Still massive.
Like, it's still banging. So we were going to incrementally
especially
bring it back
on a big project like that. That's a huge lump of money.
Yeah. So
what's
if we
GDV?
give him, well, on the 1.1 purchase, 3.2.
Right, so 20%.
It's in Cardiff.
Yeah,
it's a commercial conversion. Wow. So we've got a full and final offers on that project going in on Friday. But I also find out about the pub planning on Thursday. So it's all going on this week. The end of this year is going to be banging because we're going to know so much about all the projects going forward. Now, originally, when I proposed the project to this investor for the 250 grand, I said to him, he wanted to give the money now. He wants something to go now, right? And I said to him, if we can do it under PD, because it's an office block. So permitted development was the way I was going with it. Apparently, it doesn't apply to Wales. The PD, MA, Class E doesn't apply. Yeah, and that bugged me out because the lease option I was talking about the other day as well on one of my videos, the lease option was a commercial conversion. It would have been office block to residential. But if we haven't got the PD, that means I've got to go full planning, and it's not as good. So if I'm paying...
Is the planning as complicated?
Planning's a nightmare.
No, but like when it comes to planning to convert from commercial to residential...
It's easy enough.
In Wales.
Yeah, well, it's still a full-term process. Now, I've gone through planning with the pub. We're a year in, and I'm still waiting for my decision on Thursday.
Oh, the one that's up in Valleys?
Yes. Yeah, but that's been a year. I know somebody who's bought a grade 2 listed in Cardiff or Caerphilly or somewhere, and he's been in planning for 4 years. So
like the one in Newport as well.
That's what I'm saying. So I stay away from grade 2 listed because they obviously take longer. They do take longer, but most investors will stay away for that reason. Yeah. So actually, you can get bigger profits. Because, do you see what I mean?
If you're willing to put it in.
Yeah. If you're willing to put the time in, and if you can afford to pay the property expenses in the meantime, 4 years worth of money going out, but nothing coming in. Do you see what I mean? Plus planning, with grade 2 listed, you need loads of reports with general planning. Yeah. I learned loads about planning the other day, actually, in a networking event that you should have been at. I thought you were going to be there. It's a property networking, South Wales property meet.
I couldn't make it. I was busy.
Yeah, I know.
I know the one. Yeah, I couldn't make it. I'm gutted.
It was brilliant.
I very rarely miss them, but I couldn't make that one.
It was a really, really good one about planning.
Yeah.
And obviously I do a lot of planning. So for me to hear it from a local, he not only is a planning consultant now, but he's been working as head planner in 3 different councils across South Wales. So perfect for us.
Gets it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like that.
That's why
I was listening to every word that came out of his mouth, like writing it down.
Yeah, that's why I like those events actually, is because they're very you go to some, like I've traveled around the UK now and been to a lot of events, and they're very much like England.
Yes.
And so you go to this one, it's not just Wales, it's like it's like these 3 regions.
Yeah, of South Wales.
Where we are.
Where we live.
And it's like, and here's a project I'm doing here, here's a grade 2 over here, here's a single one. It's like, I like that. Exactly. And then he'll break it down as well. And
I cannot stress the importance of a power team. So do you remember coming to the Inner Circle in Bristol, which is our main one?
Which one?
The one where Dandelion Seeds Architecture was there, Phil.
No.
I don't know if you're right. So Phil. So I'm into some stuff personally. So like dandelions are phenomenal plants. We've been taught that they're weeds, but they've got so many healing properties in them. You can eat the roots, the stem, the flower, the petals, every bit of a dandelion, and they go around herbiciding them because they're so beneficial to health. And we've been taught they're a weed for that reason. So that's sidebar. But he called his company Dandelion Seeds, right? So I was intrigued as to whether there was a correlation between what I knew about dandelions and why he called his company that. Ended up having a chat with him afterwards about it. He very much believes what I believe. and he's brilliant at his job. So I all of a sudden had this phenomenal architect. We've got the same sort of opinions and values on outside stuff. So me and him got chatting, and he has been incredible for me. I rang him the other day and I was like, look, I got this commercial in Cardiff. I need to make my offer soon. I need to know like yesterday, all this stuff. He went away. He's also done location plans for me on other stuff, but he went away within 24 hours. He told me it was conservation area, flood risk C1, which is the worst, and all these other stuff. But then he came back to me with solutions for all of those things on planning side. Wow. So there's already defences there. So it's a 1 in 100 for the year event or whatever. And he came back with solutions for every single one. I recommend that you don't put any electrics within 1.5 meters of the ground on the basement level because it's a 4-story. Looks like a castle, mate.
I'm curious, by the way, when it comes to this planning consultant. He's an architect.
He's an architect. He is.
And so is he taking money up front, or is this a case of like you're going to use him, and so therefore he's giving you what's the word? Value.
Yeah.
And obviously in return, then you'll use him as your architect.
I actually think it's a bit of both, to be honest with you, because I don't know anyone who can get you can get basic information off a planning consultant free, and then they'll tell you how much it is for the full hog. Yeah. At the end of the email, they give you a bit of information saying it's a C1, it's conservation, it's a this, and then it'll say for a breakdown of how we can go around this or whatever, you charge whatever. I don't get that with him because I had that personal meeting, we had the same values and stuff, so that's why I can't stress how important it is for a good power team. So he, every time I speak to him, he's like, Narelle, I want to help you. He's like, I like you as a person. I just get good aura from me. And I think that's like touching. Do you know what I mean? Because I only met him that one time. Yeah. And we haven't never seen each other in person since, but we've talked a lot on the phone. Yeah. And I'll be mid-conversation with him and he'll be like, tell you what, let me get blah, blah, blah from London on the phone. He'll bring this other guy, another architect in on a video call. I've got a video actually somewhere. Me just videoing my laptop screen, and they're just like bouncing ideas off each other. I'm just like, this is great.
Like a fly on the wall in an architect conversation.
Nice. Exactly that. And you can just see them. They're like, we could do this, and we could incorporate the basement with using this, and they're quick. They're like and you're like, this is so.
It's nice that as well because you know that they know their stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like when they're bouncing, like
and this room's not big enough for that, but actually all of these walls are in pretty much the right space for we can do this.
Love problem solvers.
That is exactly it. It's problem solving, right? So I think I'm quite good at putting out fires. So I'm very good once something goes wrong. Once it goes wrong, I can fix it, right? A lot of, and that's probably one of my weaknesses is not preempting, possibly. I wouldn't say I do preempt some, but there might be something I miss.
I guess that's part of that's what they do as a career, right? Yeah, is like looking for potential downfalls. Yeah, in detail.
Yeah. But they're quick. Yeah, like the turnaround. I just called him. And within 30 seconds, he's got me on a Teams, and then he's brought this other guy in, and I was like, this is great. I love you all. And then, obviously, my broker. Oh, my God, he's phenomenal as well. And I was lucky finding him. Who's your broker? His name is Liam Arnold, and he's from FinSpace. I will link him below.
Big up Liam.
Mention my name. He will take care of you, man. Like, he is creative as anything. If I can't fund something, or if something's wrong on a credit file, or if something's off, he'll ring me straight away. He's like, no, we need to do this or we need to do that, and he'll fix it. Nice. And that's what I mean. And I am surrounded by people like that, and can't be more grateful for it. Like I have literally just sent out like loads of Christmas hampers to all my investors and my power team. Nice. Because without them, like I would never have been able to grow as much as I have. But I think one thing that keeps happening to me, and I don't know whether it is an aura thing or a vibe thing or whatever, but I think people can see something in me, which makes them want to help me because they can see it's going to work long term anyway. So it is probably for a long term gain of me hiring them.
You're very much, from my perspective, you're very much like hi, nice to meet you. So I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and then you do. Yeah. Right. So it's like there's a lot of people out there who it's like I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Let me start with X. Sit on it for a bit. Let me go to the shop quickly. I need to go pick up some clothes and blah, blah. I hate that. And it's like, whereas even with this podcast, to be honest, you were like, Drew, listen, I'm setting up a podcast. What do I need? And I was like, oh, you could have set one up. You were like, yeah, come over now.
When are you free?
I just thought about this now. So I called you now. Can you come over now? And then it was like, I went over, and then it was like a couple of days later, you did your first podcast.
Yeah.
It was like straight away.
Yeah.
And so I think that attitude is very much like from their perspective, but like I'm saying from my perspective, it's something that when I meet you, you're very much like, I'm like, here's what I'm thinking. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think people can see that. It definitely, like when you talk about aura, it's definitely something that you ooze of.
Ooze. I'm oozing.
You ooze it. Yeah, you ooze like, I'm going to get this problem solved.
This is going to happen.
Yeah, like this is what I'm doing.
Yes. So that was actually the way you've just said all that to me fits in nicely to the way I was talking to that architect when I first called him. I rang him and I was like, I want to buy this building. I'm going to buy this building. Please tell me how.
Yeah,
like, how can I make this work?
Yeah, as opposed to like, I've been looking at this one and this one as well, and blah, blah, and maybe I'll do them.
Yeah.
You're like, no, my plan is to buy this as soon as possible.
The offer will be in.
Yeah.
Just tell me if I'm right.
I imagine that's what it's like with your mortgage broker as well. Like, so I want to buy this. Tell me how I can buy this. Not like, what are my options? No. Tell me how. I'll wait.
Wish I could get him on the phone right now.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. So now we're at the point, like, my broker in particular, I talk to him a lot. Like, we're always buying stuff, right? So I called it, I don't know what, I think I'd been to Uganda or something. Like, I'd been away for a couple of days, so I wasn't calling him. It was expensive to call from Uganda. And, so I got back and he rang me and he was like, Narelle, is everything all right? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, I haven't spoken to you for like a couple of days. Is everything all right? Like, what's going on? And I was like, yeah, everything's good. We talk every day.
That's good.
Like every day. We're chasing up the solicitor or we're working together. So I use a solicitor he's affiliated with as well. So both of the, I produce a lot of money for them. And my broker doesn't take a fee off me.
Yeah.
It comes off the lender's side.
Yeah.
It never comes off me. So I've been making him money, but without it coming out of my pocket. Do you know what I mean? And then I got the chance, he's London-based, I got the chance to meet up with him in Heathrow, actually, because I was at one of the dinners or whatever. So I popped in one of those little pods, went over to the terminal.
Oh, nice.
Met him.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
I see those pods going past all the time. I'm like, I bet it's quite fun going in
It's
those.
weird, isn't it? So it's like a space thing, isn't it? So, like, obviously I'm from Wales. We don't have pods. We don't have trams or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I did a video in there. I was like, I might be from a small town in Wales, like, but this is like
I'm
a
currently
spaceship.
at NASA.
Yeah. I'm in a pod right now.
Yeah.
Moving quick.
Yeah, on my way to Elon Musk.
Yeah. I would love to meet Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's my kind of guy in terms of the way like he just does. He just does. If it messes up, it messes up, right?
Have you ever seen that video where he's standing outside one of his rockets and somebody's recording him and they're like, oh, he's explaining the rocket and he's talking, I don't know if you've seen this. He's talking through the rocket and he's like, oh, we've done X, Y, Z and blah, blah, blah. And the guy who's recording was like, oh, have you considered doing like the supercooling from the outside? Oh. And he was like, no.
Yeah. Yes.
And he stops and he's like, oh yeah, that's
a good idea.
We're gonna do that right now. And then you can imagine he literally like that video ended, made the call.
Go and make a call. Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
He's my kind of guy, and I like that he's like, is he autistic?
Yeah, he's got
to be on the spectrum.
Yeah. I don't want to assume, but like,
no, I wouldn't. That's what
if there was a spectrum, he's definitely there somewhere.
Spectrum, he's on it.
He's on there. Like I'm on there, but like he's on there. You know what I mean? Like we're all on there, but he's on there.
But I love that about him.
Yeah,
like, I actually like the way. Yes.
Very high functioning.
Yes.
Well,
and
probably
smart.
the highest functioning, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably.
Einstein level of thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I just think he would be an incredible dinner date. Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine? So just having a half an hour with him. Didn't he smoke weed as well?
Yeah.
He openly talks about smoking weed.
Have you watched his podcasts?
I watched loads of films. He's on podcasts. Does he have his own?
Yeah. When he does like Joe Rogan or something.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah,
they're nuts. Because it's nuts. Because he'll be like, and then he'll just be like, yeah, but seriously, the rocket, the way that we designed this with the X, Y, and the blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, how did you just do? Like it just
switch.
Boom.
Yeah.
Class.
Because you can never turn off. Like, so I can have fun with you and I can have a laugh and banter, but I can switch it back to property in a second.
Yeah, I know.
Because my brain just like. Yeah, so
I just think
he'd be awesome.
Going back to what you just said is I think people sense that. I got that from you straight away. That like that you and then you just be like, yeah, but seriously, so what we're gonna do here is blah blah blah. And you could, but like it's almost like you don't switch it off. It's like a different track. You know, on like a DJ deck, and it has this the what's it called, the slide in the middle. It's like you're always they're both spinning always, but for your case, there's loads of discs spinning, right? And you're just a bat.
Yeah, flicking back and forth.
Yeah.
Some people can't keep up with my brain. So people who work with me, I've got a couple of full-time staff now. I'll be having a conversation with them, and I'll be hearing they think, sometimes I think people think I'm not listening to them, right? But I am. I can hear them. I know exactly what they're saying. If you ask me to repeat it back, I can say it.
You're just saving it in this part of the brain.
Yes, and my brain is over here already.
This part is being used right now, and you also saw in that part.
And I know what I'm about to say before they even finish saying what they're saying.
Do you have ADHD?
And people, probably. I never got diagnosed with it, but I'm absolutely certain. There's no doubt about it.
It's one of those things where it's like ADHD can definitely set you back in like high school when you have to sit down at a table and read a book. But like in terms of like functioning, some of the most successful people, well, Samuel's got it, right?
Yeah.
And some of the most successful people got it because it means that you have that ability then to keep things going. But also,
spinning plates?
Yeah, spinning plates. Yeah. But also in the sense that like, in the sense that you can't, when it comes to focusing on one specific task, it's like that's more stressful than having multiple things going at once because then your brain's constantly occupied.
Yes.
And that allows you then to like, you can focus more on 4 things than you would on one thing.
Yeah, absolutely that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you said something a minute ago actually, and I was going to say something and now I've forgotten what the thing was because I was focusing on you and I didn't want to look like I wasn't listening. That's exactly the type of shit that happens to me.
Which bit?
I don't know, see?
Elon Musk?
After that.
After Elon Musk. Podcasts, Elon Musk. Autism.
Yeah, that was Elon Musk. He come back. Spinning plates. Brain function.
Storing
Rudeness.
things, DJ decks.
Yeah, DJ decks.
Sliding. This is a property podcast, I swear.
It is. Yeah, but I actually think that just having a chat between people, because, that is what I was going to say. I know exactly what it was.
Having dinner with Elon Musk.
No, not that.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not. So, right, one thing that has brightened my spirit since joining the academy, right, is for years and years, I was told I'm too loud, stop talking, be quieter. You just said about school. ADHD might hinder your ability to focus in school, right? So this was my school experience and I hated it because it bugged me, right? And I couldn't understand until a teacher said it in the right way. So basically I was constantly getting kicked out of classes, even though I'd done all my work, I was good at grades, I had all that stuff, and then when I'd finish, I'd talk, right? Because I was done it.
But then you're distracting other people.
Right. So nobody ever said that to me. Nobody said, but they haven't finished. Right? Yeah. So I used to get kicked out all the time and it used to bug me. I'd be like, screw you, man. Like, I'm done. Like, I've done everything you've asked me to do. What's the problem? And nobody ever just said to me, but they haven't finished. One teacher once said it and I was like, all right, I get it now. Like, do you know what I mean? I think that the one good thing that I've learned about myself is that I retain information quite well. So that's why I'm able to do stuff quickly because I can hold it in my brain and it doesn't do you know what I mean? Whereas other people don't operate like that. My brother doesn't operate like that. And when, same blood, we just don't operate in the same way. So learning that other people, just in general, like this goes back to the anxiety thing as well. Like it took me a long time I didn't understand anxiety. Like I had friends with anxiety and I was like, what does that even mean? Like it felt like an excuse to me. Like I felt like they were getting an excuse for not doing their college work or an excuse for, so I always thought it was that. And then I had a very close friend who had it and she got offended once because I said something to that effect. Yeah. And then
what you have is nonsense. Yeah. You're suffering from a big case of nonsense.
Why don't you just do the fucking work? Yeah. I don't understand.
It sounds like you're filled with nonsense.
So I was just like, look, and I said, yeah, I offended her. And then I said to her, I was like, what? I said, look, explain it to me then. I said, and she was like, it's crippling. Like she said, I can't go out the house sometimes. And I was like, why? Like, I just don't understand.
The weather's lovely.
Just go outside. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? But because I was hanging around with her a lot, and like I was deterred, but in my brain, my personal, when I first met her, I remember it. She also told me she was anorexic, and I had a McDonald's burger in my hand. Yeah. And I was like, not for long. I don't know if you're hanging around me or not. Yeah. And she got out the anorexia, and I think, I've never like confirmed this with her or anything, but during our time, I was with her for 4 years doing her degrees, right? it was my main focus to make her not anxious anymore. And I think that we made huge progress. Do you know what I mean?
I think a lot of anxiety is fear of what if, right?
What if?
And so, like, for you, for example, if someone's hanging around with you long enough, you're the kind of person to just ask questions and do things. And so if you're an anxious person, you get to see the other side of what if. Yeah. Which is like, oh, I'm too scared to go outside. And you're like, well, let's fucking go outside. And you just go outside and then you're like, oh, it's actually all right out here. Yeah. Or like, I need to raise 250 grand, for example. It's like, if you're anxious about that, you could be like, oh, who am I? Like, blah, blah. Whereas you'll be like, listen, I've got this really good project, blah, blah. And if someone's next to you, they get to see the other side of if they make the jump.
Yeah.
And so that I could see how that could bring some ease to someone.
Yes, yeah.
Long term, having spent time with you, seeing the
day
way
in,
you
day out
navigate
as well.
the world, which is the exact opposite of like someone who would maybe be too anxious to do those kind of things.
And I also think it's a good thing to have someone who's a bit more anxious slow me down a bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't work very much, but a little bit.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like, sometimes, on the other side, it's also good to like
have someone calmer and more
pause,
reserved. Yeah. Breathe.
Look around. Okay, go.
Yeah, go again. Yeah. But I find it very hard to pause. If I feel like stopping. So this is where this might be a little bit controversial actually, but you know Andrew Tate's teachings, as it were. I actually agree with a lot of it. Like I know he says some stuff wrong about women and that, like back in the day, but he's calmed that down as well, and he stopped saying stuff like that because it's bit him in the ass so much. But what he's saying isn't wrong. Like, he's right. Like, for the most part, we are raising a generation of pussies. Like, we are. And that goes for men and women. Like, I think we're all too mollycoddled and all that stuff. And I think that they say there's not enough hours in the day to go to the gym. Get up earlier. Like, I took that to heart. Because I've always said there's not enough hours in the day. I can't get up earlier because I'm a single mum, so I can't leave her on her own to go to the gym, right? So I still have to take that time out of my working day, which is a bit of a bitch. But I've started going to the gym.
Buy weights. Do it at home. That's what you'd say, isn't it?
It's like, why is
do it at home. Buy weights. No excuses. Bulletproof ceiling.
But if I was him, I would have everything he's just got in his house.
Yeah.
I would have done that.
Full gym.
Second I got out of the
squat racks.
Yeah, we're not all in that boat right now.
I'm really excited to do that.
Yeah. Well, me and my brother, we're constantly talking about building bunkers. Like, we want a bunker.
Yeah. Cool as hell.
And I've got land, right?
But by the way,
I want a bunker in that
what
back
you were
garden.
saying about Andrew Tate is one of those things where it's like, and it's the same with generally what we do as a whole is like essentially go and do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do what he says.
The same thing that he says is the same thing that Jordan Peterson says, the same thing that like Joe Rogan or any of those say. It's like, oh, just like do the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know the thing that you're thinking of doing?
Do it.
Just like do it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like I don't think there's anything controversial about like, oh, get up, eat good, work out, try be successful.
Yeah.
There's no
don't try
negatives.
Be successful. Be successful.
Yeah. There's no.
If you're moving forward, you're moving forward, right?
That's like really positive information.
Yeah. And everyone's like, yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually a big Andrew Tate fan.
Yeah,
just based on what he says, I just agree with him, and the fact that he's so abrasive about it, is I think probably a good thing. I think some men have taken what he says wrong.
Literal, and literal. Like he's definitely. Me personally, the way I see Andrew Tate, like, is the same way that I see a lot of people, like the Donald Trumps of the world and stuff like that.
I like Donald Trump as well.
Yeah, same. It's like, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things that I agree with.
Yeah.
There's also some things I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think it like, just because I like a lot of what Andrew Tate says doesn't mean that like I'm Andrew Tate. You know what I mean? It's like, doesn't mean that I'm misogynist. It's like, no, it's like, what? Like, we can't get up and go to the gym. We can't eat well. We can't try and make loads of money to look after people.
Try and make loads of money.
Yeah,
make loads of money.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But like, actually, like, instead of just like doing the same thing every day and blah, blah, blah and hoping for change.
Yes.
Their whole thing is like, do something different.
It's Einstein's definition of insanity.
Exactly. Yeah, and so I don't think it should be controversial to agree with what people like that say.
Yeah.
Especially if they're successful. And regardless of like their political stances or anything like that, it's like, oh yeah, like wake up early. You know what I mean? Take time for yourself. Eat good food. Like, where's the negative? I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's like, it even goes back to the to the anxiety thing, like, I can't remember where I was going with that. That's my train of thought.
About you being anxious, especially when you said you were, the only times you were anxious when you knock on doors.
Oh, yeah, but that was in a different video with me.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. But do you get anxious?
No, not really.
No?
So we were talking, we went to view a property this morning before I met you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted it. It's been on the market already. There was 2 agents involved. We viewed it with one agent. We made the offer, but somebody in this agency had already offered and they got accepted. That property's fallen through twice now and it came back on. We've just called it again, right? So I want this property. I've wanted it since I first saw it, right? So we've just put our new cash offer in this morning.
Yesterday.
No, it's literally
Since you first saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I move quick.
Yeah, but my brother was like, "Oh, we got the investor secured." I said, "Don't worry about that. I'll sort that." Like, it's not a concern.
Yeah,
I don't worry about where I'm going to get the money from. I will get the money.
Especially when you get into a flow, especially when you're an entrepreneur, it's such a change of mindset. From having a job, it's like, oh, that costs 20 grand. It's like, okay, well, I'll just figure out how to get 20 grand.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're a 9-to-5er, that's such an impossible thought. Like the concept of like, where am I going to get 20 grand from? So what you just like, you have to figure out a way. And when there's a need, there's a must, right? So you just get it done.
I had 2 weeks on the bounce. The first week I needed 82.5 grand. Second week I needed 87.5. And I was like, Jesus Christ. that was an error on my part. The first 82.5, right? So I'd got investors for the pub. It was on a delayed completion. Now I had the bridging terms off my broker, right? And I knew that if we didn't have planning, I'd get like a low loan to value. It was about 50%, which is nothing.
Yeah.
And then if we got the planning, we'd get 75%. So I didn't want to go for either or because I was hoping to get the planning.
Yeah.
We didn't get it by the time and I got an email off my solicitor saying, "Oh, we got to complete next Friday. Are you ready to go?" And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Because a bridge takes longer than a week, right? I knew the terms, and I'd been sitting on the terms for months.
Yeah.
But I hadn't picked one because I was hoping planning would come through. So all of it, and I rang the broker, and he was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to get the cash." And I was like, "Okay, great." I was like, "Yeah, no problem, mate. I'll get 82.5 grand this week by Friday."
That's all you, buddy.
That's what I mean. We talked to each other, so like he was like, "I'll bridge it when we get the plan," and I was like, "Great, mate, great." Yeah, fantastic. I'll make a few calls, shall I?
Yeah.
I did. Like there was one day where Charlie from Bath, Langley. Sorry, can't believe that came out my head. You never say people's surnames, though, do you? Not really.
No, I always see it on the WhatsApp group.
Ah, right, yeah. So Charlie came round and we had a couple of days together. She stayed at my house. Lovely time, everything. She's doing like an Excel spreadsheet for me to help me organise myself.
Langley Properties. That's a company.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
But I had that day to raise 50 grand because we'd not missed it, but the deadline for paying an investor back was that day. And I'd not seen it coming, if you know what I mean. Whereas we've got a red, green, amber light system now. So as we're getting close to needing to pay someone back, they're in a red band. If they're this year but not finished, like they're amber, and the green ones are like a year away. We're good. So that's come of that. But I needed 50 grand that day, and it was my daughter's sports day, and I refused to miss my child's stuff.
I see where this is going, by the way.
I had 4 hours up until lunchtime to get 50 grand.
Did you say your daughter goes to like a nice school, like where it's filled with soccer moms and stuff like that?
Yes, but I didn't get it off the mums.
Oh, okay.
No, God, no. I needed it that day. So I was like, right, that's 8 hours, right? And then I was like, shit, I've got sports day. That starts at 12. It's all afternoon, right? So I was like, it's like 9 a.m. I was like, I've got like 4 hours to get 50 grand. Charlie, I don't get stressed. Like I don't get anxious. I don't really get stressed. Not really, unless I'm about to hit burnout, and that does happen. But it's few and far between. It's nothing. I mean, just take a day and I'm good.
Yeah.
I was stressed and I was sitting there and I'm on the phone. I'm like, it's on my head. She's video recorded bits of it because she was like, Narelle, I've never seen you stressed before. Like, and I was just like, 50 grand. I was like ringing people. I was like emailing people, and I got it. I got 45.5 by the lunchtime.
Wow.
So I was only a couple of grand off, and we were able to get that from a different project. So I was like, but I've never not paid an investor back.
Yeah.
Never.
Actually, do you know what? From Charlie's perspective, I imagine that's really good content. I've got.
She did not post it.
No, not to post. But like, I've got a picture of myself when I was working on a movie, and I was having a horrible time, like literally on the edge. And I was burnt out beyond belief. And there was one day in particular, I left something, I was staying in London, so I left something where I was staying.
Yeah.
And I went back and I was just like, I thought I was going to collapse. Lay down on the bed and I took a picture of myself.
Yeah.
I never take pictures of myself, but in that moment, I took a picture of my face and I've got it on my phone in my favorites. And whenever I get stressed or I think I'm stressed, I look back at it. And I remember how I felt in that moment. And it's like, oh no, I'm fine. And I imagine from Charlie's perspective, if you were to get that video, you go back and be like, okay, I felt like that and I got through it.
Yeah, there's a picture and I'm at the end of the dining table in my house. Yeah. Laptops out, there's papers everywhere. I'm like, I'm literally like that with the phone in my hand like that. And I've still got that picture. Yeah. That is that image for me.
Yeah, keep it saved. I mean? Yeah. Don't print it, stick it on the wall. But like keep it for like because you got through that. Yeah. You literally came out the other end.
That was a day. That because it scared me that I might not be able to pay an investor back, but I didn't for a second think I couldn't do it. Yeah. I just knew I was tight on time.
You knew it was going to be hard.
It was time. It was just the time frame. People are at work at 9 in the morning. You can't necessarily get hold of all the investors I had to contact.
And so you got the money. You got that sold. Yeah. And then the following week?
No, that was earlier in the year. That was probably May time, and then sort of must have been September, October this year. Yeah. And I was like, I need 82.5 grand to pay for the pub cash. So that's the only one I've got unencumbered because I paid cash in the end. Yeah. Until planning comes through, which is Thursday. I found out about it on Thursday. Nice. Yeah, I'm excited about that, but I learned a lot. Oh, so let me talk about this planning guy, right? We've been in planning on the pub for a year, and it's been one night. I say nightmare. I feel like it's been a nightmare, but I know more now. I've learned from it, right? Yeah. So we put the planning application in, right? Architect drawings cost us £1 million. It was really good HMO architect firm from London. They were shockingly shit. Their drawings were amazing. I am going to shout them out, actually, because they were horrendous on the customer services.
Well, you're going to shout them out. You're going to out them.
I was going to.
Do it. I felt like evil Kermit then. Do
it. So they are called... Can't remember the name of that shit.
That's how bad they were. Let's not cuss them. But they were.
I'm definitely going to cuss them. They cost me so much time and money.
But the drawings were good.
The drawings were good. Mm-hmm. Good. Mm. I thought they were good because I didn't know what I was looking at. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you see some lines, measurements.
Yeah, it looked good.
There's north over there.
Yeah. And I showed them to new architects I've had since, and they've all said, "Oh, they're good drawings, right?" Yeah. However, they did something wrong. I needed it changed. Took them weeks to come back to me. Weeks. Which is time, man. Time is money, right? Mm. Took them weeks to respond to me. And then they were just responding to say, yes, we'll make the change. Not that they'd done the change. Mm-hmm. Then I'd have to wait for them to do the goddamn change. Then the planning guy in the council, I need a flood risk assessment. Okay, great. 6 weeks to get the report back, $3 grand, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Go, right, done that, handed it in, thought, great, we'll be going now. No, we need a traffic impact assessment.
Is this one of those where it's like they never tell you everything?
They don't just tell you everything. They stagger it. Yeah. So every time I finished the report, they wanted another report. I was like, just give me a list of reports you want. Like, do you mean? I know all those reports now. Yeah. So going forward, I'll be going for pre-app. Mm. I'll be front-loading the hell out of the planning application. I'm going to get all the reports done during the pre-app. Mm-hmm. All of them. Mm-hmm. I don't even care if it's unnecessary. I'm just going to get them all done. Mm-hmm. There is nothing. Then when my full application goes in, they've got every report they could possibly need. Mm. There's nothing to hold it up other than them. Mm-hmm. Then that's on them. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure if they've got everything they need, they've only got a set time before they have to come back to you. Haven't they?
And so this... Oh, yeah. Does it actually, when it comes to planning permission for specifically commercial... Yeah. Does that fall under that bracket where it's like if they don't get back to you within a certain amount of time?
That's the PD, Class MA,
we don't have in Wales.
We don't have it in Wales, no. But there is still time frames associated with a normal planning application.
Got it.
I don't know how solid they are as compared to the PD rights, because that's the one we want. Mm-hmm. So I literally said to as soon as I found out we don't have them in Wales, I was like, we need to start buying stuff over the bridge. Yeah, I was like, let's go to Bristol. Let's start buying commercial offices in Bristol.
Yeah, in the southwest.
As soon as we're in England, we got the PD rights, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like I've made a separate video on the PD Class E, MA and stuff.
Nice.
Like just the stipulations, the general stipulations, I call it.
Yeah. and then so this current architect that you have then is like the dog's...
He's amazing.
The dog's
he's got grade 2 listings over the line. That's how we came to be, because when I met him at that event, not only did his company name take to me, But he was doing a grade 2 listed. He just got a grade 2 listed over the line.
Yeah.
And I was in cahoots. I was talking and I was in the process of purchasing a grade 2. We let it go in the end. But that was only because I spoke to a heritage consultant, spoke to planning consultant, blah, blah, blah. And the extra time involved and the extra money didn't make that particular project worth it. Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, there'll be less investors involved and going for it and all the rest of it. But if the extra expense of the heritage consultant and the extra expense of the refurb costs is going to eat into your profits, why would you do it? Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you just go for something that isn't listed?
Yeah.
Also, I've just found out that the one I want in Cardiff is locally listed. Now, that's not a listed building yet. It's on their radar, and the next step is it will be listed at some point.
I've never heard of locally listed.
Nor have I until lately.
Where in Cardiff? Can you say where in Cardiff it is?
I don't want to yet until my offer's in on Friday.
Can you tell me off camera?
I can tell you the area.
Okay.
Rather than the road.
Yeah, well, you don't need to tell me that. But like, if it's a listed building that's big, and I know Cardiff like that,
mate, it is a Pontcanna. It's banging. The GDV, right? Let's put it this way: we're converting this into apartments.
Pontcanna's a phenomenal area.
Rich,
first of all.
like richy, rich.
Well, yeah,
do you know how much a one bed is?
Yeah, I do.
Apartment.
Yeah,
250?
Yeah,
230, 250?
I seen one. It was a top floor, you know, like an attic apartment, one bed, loft conversion apartment. Yeah,
penthouse, baby.
on what's it called? What's the main road called? I can't remember what it's called. Cathedral Road.
Right.
And it was up for 195 attic conversion, and I was like, bloody hell.
Might be close to that road.
I think I know the building.
I will show you the building. I basically creamed in my pants as soon as I saw the building. I'm not even joking. I saw it and I was like, oh, we could buy a...
And what are you going to do with it?
Convert it into apartments. It'll be 8 luxury apartments, all 2 beds.
Yeah.
The ground floor level, because of the flood risk element, this is what I'm doing. There's a basement.
Yeah.
I'm mezzanine flooring and have an open plan kitchen, living space downstairs, and your bedroom's on the top floor.
Yeah, nice.
So they'll be luxury as shit.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have the luxury, you know, the top floor, as you're saying, in the loft conversion. And
Yeah.
Oh man, honestly,
nice.
I saw the building and I was like, we could own this.
Is it proper rundown?
No, it's just an office block.
Oh, nice.
It just needs converting.
Yeah.
It's not run down at all. And when I was working with the architect, where they were like, like, no, we could do this.
They're huge as well.
It's big.
They're big buildings.
Put it this way, it's 395 square meters.
Yeah. They're big buildings.
I could be wrong on that. It could be bigger than that. The one we looked at today was 295 square meters.
Yeah, they're massive. They are massive, though, to be fair. Yeah, that'd be nice. Do you know what? I tell you what, there'd be phenomenal service accommodation units. If
That's exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to make it a gated community.
Oh,
mate, wait till I show you
parking.
This 20 places.
And also, to be
20
fair,
places.
20 places.
It's an office block, mate.
Brilliant. And I'll tell you what's brilliant about it, especially when it comes to Cathedral Road. Now, when I was looking at rent-to-rents in Pontcanna, when you're looking at like
the rents are $2,000.
Yeah, super expensive.
Yeah.
But like the nightly rates are really high.
Yeah,
and so it does balance out.
Yeah.
But like parking in like Pontcanna Village, horrible.
Oh, I can't wait.
Really bad.
I can't wait to show you this building, man.
Yeah.
It's sexy.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could get turned on by a
20
building.
20 spaces, and how many apartments?
There'll be 8.
8 apartments, 20 spaces. So in theory, you could do 2 spaces per apartment and then rent out the other spaces.
Yeah.
Match days.
Money.
Stadium days.
Money.
Walking distance. Run.
Or, even better than that, I give them all 1 space each and I use the rest for match days.
Do you know what?
Don't over-provide.
Just as a side note, my dream, one of my property dreams is to own a car park. I really want to own car parks.
It's a weird dream, mate.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's like common sense when you think about it. It's like, you know, like an NCP in the city centre.
They must make so much money, yeah.
So much money. Minimal work.
So you want to... no work.
Minimal
You need a
work.
machine.
You literally, you obviously build it or like you convert it or fix
Just
it.
tarmac it,
Whatever.
it's
Tarmac it, yeah. Stick it down, plop a man in a little box at the front. Job done. Done.
Plop a man in a box.
And also that you invest a little bit more money, so you get one of those machines that scans as you go in. And scans, so you don't need any tickets. Scan in, scan out. Oh, you didn't pay? That'll be £7,000, please. You know what I mean?
If you don't pay now, we'll double it.
Yeah, every 35 seconds.
That's not a bad shout.
It's such a good investment.
Actually, right, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. But I'm going to say it. I'm not big enough that people will steal it off me yet. You know the steelworks in Port Talbot.
Yeah.
That's shutting down, right?
Yeah.
I want some of that toxic land because that is seafront land.
Brownfield.
No, toxic land, right?
Yeah,
you stick a storage container unit business on it for now. Let it detoxify. My kid can then develop that.
Yeah.
I want that land. There's going to be some huge developers already talking to them about that. So I either get my finger in that pie now.
Hundreds of millions for
they'll be buying the whole site. I want to buy a chunk of it because I'm not like in a position to buy it all.
Yeah, like but you can find like 70 grand, but like finding like 700 million. Well, no, a bit trickier. When there's a will, there's a way.
I could do that. I mean, don't worry about that. All I need is 250 grand investors.
Yeah. Yeah.
You break it down. That is how I see stuff, right? So that Cardiff property, we're going in for 1.1, right? And worth 3.2. Right, 1.1. I only need what 275-ish for the deposit.
Yeah. Renovation costs
700, but I get 100% development finance.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah.
So I only need the kickoff money for that as well. So I need 10% of that. So I need about
you need to front end it, don't you?
Yeah. So it's about 77,000. I need just for the first month kickoff of the development fund.
Yeah, and then
but again,
all in arrears.
They're separate things to me. So all I need to do, as far as I'm concerned, is secure the deposit money.
Yeah.
Now I've got the £250,000 guy. I only need a couple of grand, like 15 grand extra, and I've done that. That's done. Then the development finance, I'll contact someone else about that in a different timeline. They're not the same thing. I don't think, I need 400 grand. I need this, which I'm nearly there already, and I need this.
Segmented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my brain does that.
Do you know what's interesting is you treat this the way like someone on Dragon's Den treats their company, where you're doing like a rounds of investment finance. Yeah. And so it's like, you know, on Dragon's Den, it's like obviously we see like that bit. But the way it works, say you're a startup. So I worked with one before years ago, and it's like they go to this event and they meet these people and they raise 300 grand here.
Yeah.
And then they go to this event and they give another portion of their company away, and they raise based on the 300 grand, their company is now worth X. And so they say, okay, well, we can sell you X amount for this, and you get 200 grand here and you get 100 grand, and you're essentially doing an investment rise.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you do essentially with a business, but you're treating each development as its own individual business. Yeah. And so you're raising finance for that. Exactly.
So I only put one property per company because they're all big properties, right?
Yeah.
So that keeps the cash flow smooth. Everything goes into one bank account for that one property.
Yeah.
The first company I ever started, I've got 3 big properties in there. So I might.
You were starting though, innit?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't. But they're all like owned by us. So it's only us that has to deal with that bank account. Do you know what I mean? There's no JVs in there. We've got investors, obviously, but once they're paid off, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? And they're nothing to do with it anymore. And then I got reached out to on, like, I've only just started using TikTok. I don't know if you're on my TikTok.
No, I don't really use TikTok.
Well, so I watch TikTok a bit if I get 10 minutes to myself, which is never. But if I'm having a poo, whatever, sit on TikTok, right?
Yeah, a bit of a scroll.
Of course, right? So I'm sitting there, and I thought, I'm not on TikTok. Like, I should be on TikTok.
Yeah.
The stuff I make is shorts and...
you already made them.
Yeah. So I was just putting them across is basically what I was doing. Instagram.
That's what I do, to be honest. I don't really use... I turned off... Basically, I did that video that went viral.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And so when I downloaded TikTok, the cow thing, and it went viral. And even still to this day, I don't have notifications on TikTok because it's ping, ping, ping every time. I can show you now. Every time I go on it, there's over 100 likes every day. So I never actually go. So people message me on like TikTok, and I just never see it for like a week because I just won't go on TikTok.
Yeah, I don't message people on there. But somebody messaged me asking me to invest 100 grand. They want to give me 100 grand.
On TikTok?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that just opened it. I was already getting investors through Instagram anyway.
Yeah.
Which blew my mind.
Yeah.
And why is it taking me this long to start using this other platform?
Yeah.
Like TikTok, like, do you know what I mean?
Do you know what's crazy, by the way, is that like we brushed over that just very, because in my mind that makes sense. But to someone who's new into property, or new into investing as a whole, the idea that someone wants to give you money that they've just watched some of your videos, or let's say they've been following you a couple of months but never interacted, and then one day they're like, I want to get involved, drop you a DM, I'm willing to invest 100 grand.
Yeah.
I like your stuff. That's such a foreign concept.
Yeah.
Like, we're just brazing over it. But it is nuts.
Yeah. It is nuts because a year and a half ago, I do think most stuff comes down to belief.
Yeah.
Like just in general, like I never thought that I wouldn't make it in finding investors. I was struggling to find investors at the beginning. Obviously, everyone does. But I never for a second didn't think I would. Whereas other people get demoralized and they get disheartened and they get, do you know what I mean? And they let it get to them and stuff like that. Like it just, my brain just doesn't function that way. Do you know what I mean? Like but knocking on doors now, that'll dishearten me. It's a weird one. It's weird.
Although, that being said, I'm sure if you did it enough times, you'd be one of the best door knockers in the world. It's very much when it comes to...
I don't want to.
When it comes, especially with sales, it's like I remember the first time I called an estate agent, and I was terrified. And I was like...
Really?
By the 100th time, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So, you're Iowa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always bring people up like it's Narelle.
But like, it is... It's definitely reps in the gym.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard to, and like you said with investors, it's exactly the same concept.
Yeah.
I'm sure raising your first even 10 grand was terrifying. Like, oh my God, like I got to raise 10 grand and then I got to pay it back eventually and blah, blah, blah. And it's like the concept of it. And now you're like, I'm getting 250 grand for this. And blah. But it's reps.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like, oh yeah, nice to meet you. So I need 250 grand.
Yeah,
and I've never done anything before.
That's exactly it. So people are like, how do you ask an investor for money? I said, I never ask an investor for money. Not once have I done that. Like the biggest one I think is my childhood dentist makes me, it makes me giggle because it's just like I didn't even ask him. I went in there to get my teeth done. I'm like, he's like, how's business? I was like,
Yeah. You're in the dentist, right?
Yeah. And then once he finished, he was like, so what's the minimum someone can invest? I said, oh, look, really, like, I wouldn't want to take any less than 20 grand, like, do you know what I mean? And he said, what about 200 grand? I was like, great, we can work with that. I was like, and that was that. Like,
and also, by the way, again, you brush over it because you're a natural at it, but it's one of those things that I'm acutely aware of when it comes to presenting yourself as an investable person, right? It's something that we should all learn.
Yeah.
If he said to you, or she said to you, what about 250 grand? You went, oh my God,
amazing.
That's so much money.
So good.
Or I don't know, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But in that situation, you were like, yeah, sounds good. Yeah, 250 grand. But like,
we could put that into one of the larger projects. It's something I said, I think.
but it's one of those things where like to you that's natural. But to someone, again, who's just coming into it, it's like if someone says 250 grand, you'd be like, oh, but you...
Freaking out,
a lot
like
of
happy.
it's not about faking. It's about understanding that, yes, I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. I know or like, I've got an idea or I'll find a way to utilize it.
Yes.
And being confident in yourself in that situation.
Yes.
So that when those situations arise, you're prepped and ready.
Yeah. And the best one other than the dentist. So the dentist just happened sort of, I was not expecting it. Like I only went in there I had no makeup on, my hair was scruffy. That's the other thing.
You're at the dentist.
Yeah, but I don't present, I don't dress up. I'm not like highly professional or anything. I
don't know what you're on about. You're wearing a Christmas tree top and it's
Exactly.
phenomenal. It's outstanding.
But I am very me. Like people are like, I saw you in a dress once, and I was like, yeah, once. I have never happened again.
You wore dresses.
To the academy, to the awards, and that's it.
Yeah.
That is the only time you'll catch me in a dress.
Yeah.
Maybe on my wedding day if I ever.
Yeah.
But my best investor story, as far as I'm concerned, is when I went to the Bristol Inner Circle. That I just ended up trying to secure a beer, and the bar was shut.
I was there.
You were there, were you?
That was my
guest.
That was my first Inner Circle.
That was mine as well.
That was my first ever one. I just signed up to the academy like 2 weeks prior.
Did you see me talking to them?
I was there.
Oh, you were there with
I was at the bar.
Okay. No, the bar was locked though. The bar was shut.
No, the bar
was doing the guest
it wasn't
speaking.
fully shut.
Okay.
So I remember
there was a grate there, and I just remember thinking, I need a beer.
Do you know what it was? I know exactly what happened. I turned up. I briefly said hi to you. And then I was getting a drink, and I was like, do you want a drink? And I said this to you. You won't remember this, but I remember this because it was the only reason I remember it is because of what happened after.
Yeah.
And so I was like, do you want to get a drink? And you were like, oh, yeah, I'll have a beer. And so I was like getting the drinks in. And as I'm getting the drinks in, the guy behind, you weren't there at this time. You were chatting to someone else. And the guy at the bar was like, oh, who's that? He was chatting to someone else who was next to me and was like, oh, who's that lady who was speaking at
the last one?
You were at one
there,
before. No, I wasn't there. I hadn't been at the academy.
The bar was shut.
Yeah, okay. And so he was like, I want to chat to her whilst I'm at the bar.
Right.
And then I said your drink's ready or you came over. I can't remember the exact thing. And then you start chatting to him.
Yeah.
Because there's two of them.
Yeah, there's two of them.
And you were chatting to them, blah, blah, blah. I remember standing there like, I think I was going to give you a drink or something. And I was standing there and I was like, oh, do you know what? Normally in this situation, because you had your back turned, I was like, oh, maybe I've not made a good impression. But I could see that at the time you were very much locked in.
On them, yeah.
And this is the first time I've met you, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this is like really fucking cool. Like I was standing there, I was like, this is really good. I just signed up. I know nothing. And you're doing the thing that I'm there to learn to do.
I got you.
Right? And so I just stood there and I think you turned around and you were like, oh, sorry, Drew. And I was like, no.
Yeah, I hate turning my back to people.
I was like
so
drinking I was like, no, carry on. I stood there.
Watch the show.
And listened to the whole conversation, but more as like I knew nothing. And so what you were about to say, I got all of that information live for my first event. And I was like, whoa.
So my first event was the one before that. So that must have been my second event, right? Yeah. So I went there and I was the guest. I only went because I was the guest speaker. Jay and Joe had asked me to be the thing. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'll come and talk about commercials and all that stuff. And I got there and the bar was shut. And I was like, oh, crap. I was like, why are they the metal? And he said, I remember saying to Joe, why is the bar shut? And he said, because it costs extra money. I said, I will pay for it. Just go and open the bar.
By the way, shout out to Joseph and Jay, because those guys, from that point on, the bar's never been shut. The bar is open every time now. Yeah.
I wanted that bar open, man. I was like, I can talk for England, for Wales. Sorry. I can talk for Wales, right? I say England because nobody else knows where Wales is.
Yeah.
Have you ever been abroad and they're all like, oh, you're from England? And you're like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, no. What I do, anytime I'm away, I'm like, oh, I'm from Wales. And they're like, what? And I'm like, Gareth Bale. And they're like, oh, Gareth Bale. Yeah, they get it then.
They understand Gaelic. Like in Spain, they call Wales Gaelic.
Is it?
Yeah, but Gaelic is the language, isn't it? Like
I guess like Celts. Yeah.
Yeah, the Celt thing. Yeah. But in Spanish it's Gaelic or something like that. Oh. Anyway, so it took me ages to learn that though. I was like, no, Wales.
Cymru.
I was like Spain, Portugal, England, Wales.
Yeah.
Same thing.
That's good shout. Yeah.
Trying to explain it like that. So the bar was shut, right? So I'm like, oh crap, I need a beer. Like I'm a bit nervous. I was nervous. It does happen.
Of course.
It does happen.
You're also going to an event to speak.
For the first time I've been there, I didn't know anyone there really. Joe and Jay obviously knew me to invite me. Do you know what I mean? But other than that, I didn't know who was going to be there.
Natural nerves. Yeah.
So anyway, I went towards the outside to have a cigarette and I saw the back door to the bar was open. I was like, hey, I'm in here. So I just poked my head in and I was like, excuse me. I was like, can I just buy a bottle? I'll give you some cash. Like, let me just, I need a beer. I'm going to be talking. Basically, he came out and we started talking and they were like experienced portfolio landlords in Bristol. And I was saying like, oh, they all on buy-to-lets and standard ASTs. Sorry, I always say these are anagrams. It's a short hold tenancy. It's an AST. It's like the old school version of renting properties out basically to like families or whatever. I said to them, they all on ASTs and they said, yeah. And I was like, you can't be making much money now with all the interest rates going up. And then they said, no, it's shit now. Like we've made so much money in the past.
And we just timing as well, yeah.
So I just and they fell into me. And I said, look, you can convert them all to service accommodation. Bristol's popping, right? It's a city centre location. You'll have contractors coming in. I said, why don't you convert them into either HMOs or service accommodations? And they were like, oh, interesting, all right. And they were like, so how do we go about that then? And I said, well, just kick your tenants out to a degree when their term comes up. Make it prettier. And I said, I'll help you. I said, I run loads of units down by London at the minute and blah, blah, blah. And that was it. And there was two of them. One of them was talking to me predominantly and the other one was stood there with his arms crossed, grinning. And I knew in that moment we were going to do something. I didn't know what money they had. I didn't know anything about them. I just knew they had property. Having property doesn't necessarily mean you got cash, right? I got loads of property. I ain't got no cash, right? So I was like, I didn't know anything. And then the next time, that was it. Like that was it. Next time I went to the event was the time that they asked for me. That was because I'd spoken to them. They wanted to pick my brain about service accommodations. So I was helping them adapt their portfolio. Not at any point did I ask them for money. Maybe the next event after that, there was the month apart, these events, right? Next month after that, I met Charlie Langley for the first time. Now she was like fangirling me at that point because she'd seen me. And I remember holding the door open like that and she had to go into my arm. She was like, it was the nicest thing ever. And we've been best friends since then. Like, we've been really close since then.
She's such a lovely person.
Yeah, but I took her to the bar and then we got a drink and then I went back out and they were there. The guys were there. And she's like stood hiding behind me. Like, I can't even begin to... She was like behind me and off to the side, like really tucked in. And I'm just talking. And we walked away and she went, did you just do business? And I was like, I think so. I was like, I don't know. I don't even know. And they were like, look, we're selling one of our companies. We want to put some money into you, basically, is what they said. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. Give me a call at the time and then I can tell you what projects we got going at the time. And that was it. I never ask anyone for money. Never. Oh, that's a lie. Every now and then, if I need it there and then, I'll put a video out on Instagram just saying I need this for that long. So I do that. And then people have messaged me saying, do those videos actually work? And I was like, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
If I just need like a little 20 or 30 grand top up on something, I'll put it out on Instagram and I'll get someone from that.
Yeah.
That's how I do that, predominantly. If I need it quick and it's just a small amount. If I need something big and it needs to be someone I've either worked with before or I know has got a bigger pot sitting there or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, moral of the story, talk to absolutely everybody.
Yeah, and also become investable. As you glide through life, like as I was growing up, I thought everyone thought like me.
Yes.
And so, being a teenager and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, I would be nice to this person, so why are they nice to me? And the older you get, the more you have the perspective of like, okay, so not everyone has the same thoughts as me. Not everyone wants to achieve big things in their life, but also not everyone has patience, and not everyone has understanding and common sense and all those things that you think is like a given.
Yes.
When you're growing up, you're like, oh, yeah, of course, everyone thinks like that. You realize they don't.
No.
And then it's adjusting your understanding to then have those human interactions. So the person who I am with you today is very different to the person who I was when I was at my mate's funeral recently, and I'm seeing all of these people from there. I'm a very different person. You almost have to be like a chameleon.
Yeah.
I'm still my core self, but the way I speak and the way I interact with people, because they're from a different area, is very different. And I think it helps with, especially with business and moving forward, being able to mold yourself so that you're still you, but you're just a digestible version for the person that you're interacting with. I think is such an important skill that is something you need to. I don't think about it whilst I'm doing it, right? It's like it just happens. You just become like my accent, for example. The accent I have with you, if I speak to someone from London, it becomes way more. And if I speak to someone from the valleys, I'm like, oh, how's it going, man? Yeah, it's you do it naturally, but just being aware of who you're speking to can really help when it comes to relationships. Funny you should say that,
actually. So when I'm talking to builders and stuff, I become all
buildery.
Yeah, like I was going to say council estate. Yeah. I just become more rougher.
Yeah.
Rougher? Not even saying good words now.
But it's because you're molding to your environment.
Yes.
And I think the best entrepreneurs and stuff, you never change your core person. Your core person you are the representation of yourself.
Yeah.
But it's the same as when you're on a first date. Right?
Yes.
It's not truly you on that first date, right? What you believe in is still there, but like you are a slightly different person on a first date.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's because you understand the situation you're in and the stakes that are involved and all that kind of stuff. And you just take that same skill, because it is a skill.
Yeah.
People don't think about it, don't realize it, but adjusting yourself to the room that you're in and the environment you're in is a skill. And it's something that I think, if you want to succeed and you want to take those big steps, you have to have that in your locker.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when you ring in an agent or whatever and you get a softly spoken person who answers, I suddenly come down.
Yeah, and do you know what? I did it the other day and I didn't even realize.
They say, hello, you've got chance to come down before they even know what you sound like.
But if they're like, oh, how's it going? You're like, oh, nice to meet you. Yeah.
What about a viewing? I do like,
yeah.
No, but if they're like, hello, and you're like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
May I book a viewing, please?
Yeah. But
like,
it's not changing who you are. It's just adjusting to the situation.
Yeah.
Being environmentally aware.
Yeah.
100%.
Helps getting people on board and stuff as well.
And it's super powerful in networking.
Yes.
It's the most powerful tool, because especially if you come in and you're like, hi there, nice to meet you. My name's True, and I'm thinking about doing it. It's not going to work.
No.
But the same is if you come in too powerful and you're meeting an introvert and you're like, hey, ba-ba-ba, ba-ba, and they're like, hi there, nice to meet you. The same can be, you know what I mean? It's like, it's about You don't need to change yourself. It's just about coming to their level.
Yeah. So actually, speaking on the introvert thing, so there was I got pulled aside in university, right? I think I mentioned this on my Winners on Wednesday, and they told me I was asking too many questions.
Nonsense. Yeah.
Nonsense, right? Yeah. I'm paying you to ask questions, right? They said, yeah, but it's just slightly disruptive to the lesson, and we don't get to teach all the teachings and blah blah blah. And I said, look. Not only am I brutally offended by this, she said, but it's not just teachers who've mentioned it, students as well. And then I was upset. Like, I was pissed. Because I was like, why is this a problem? Like, and then I went back in the class and very loudly, because I wanted to know which students had said it, if you know what I mean. I very loudly said to my Emily, I was like, yeah, apparently I asked too many questions and it disrupts the lesson. Like, really loudly. And I swear to God, the quietest girl in the class came over right at the end of the lesson because she knew I was pissed because she'd heard me talking about it all lesson, probably. And then she came up to me right at the end and she said, Narelle, she said, I just wanted to say, sometimes you ask questions that I want to know the answer to and I just won't ask. She said, please don't stop asking questions. I said, don't worry about it. I won't stop asking these questions. I was like, no way am I paying you $9,500 a term or whatever it is. And you're telling me I can't ask questions. It's not happening. I was so annoyed because that just speaks volumes to the education system.
Yeah, and also
it's just ridiculous.
But not just the education system, the mass majority of people.
Yeah.
And it's what separates your average daily person to your entrepreneur who's striving for better. And again, it comes back, I hate going back to it, but it comes back to team leadership and all that kind of stuff. It's like, if you're the person who's confident enough, asking questions gets you to where you need to be. It builds your understanding, it builds your relationship with that person and stuff like that. But like, being the person who's willing to take those risks and ask those questions is the person who in your team, they look up to you.
Yeah.
Because some people in your team may not have that ability.
Yeah. And it's like the bit that gets me is like, how, if I'm asking questions, like that gives you a rounded argument for when you come to actually write down what the answer is. They don't want you to ask questions and question what's being taught because they don't actually know the answer. They only know what to teach you, what's on the paper in front of them, right? They read the page the night before and then they come in the next day and teach it to you, right? You ask too many questions, they don't know the answers. Well, you haven't got a well-rounded argument when you come to write your thesis or your whatever it is. When you come to do an essay on that subject, you can't give a well-rounded argument. Oh, so-and-so told me it was this, so I have to write it was this. And now I'm referencing the so-and-so said it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like, so when Samuel, in particular, and everyone else talks about the education system, totally agree.
Yeah.
Absolute boulder dash.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Like boulder dash.
I failed all my GCSEs.
Did you?
Failed all of them. Well, no.
Is that because you were angry?
That's a lie. I
Angry
was.
teen.
Yeah, I was at the time. I was getting into so many fights all the time.
That's
But
mad.
also, I just started smoking weed. At the time, and I say just started. I started when I was like 14 or 15, and I've stopped now. But like at the time, I would like got in with the wrong people, getting into fights. I'm being disrupted. I had some stuff that went on in my life that now in hindsight I could look back on, but at the time I didn't know. So I'm just being a hormonal, aggressive kid. But I failed all my GCSEs. I then lied about the grades I had to get into college. So you needed like 4 GCSEs to get into college. So I just lied.
Yeah, why not?
And I also, so I did graphic design in college when I was 18. So I was quite late to it. Just turning 19. And a mate of mine did some graphics. And so I just took his designs because you needed a portfolio. And I was like, oh, I did that. Yeah. And I just, on my BlackBerry, right? I just showed them like these random designs and they're like, yeah, they don't care. They were like, yeah, you're in the course. Yeah, fine. And so I did the course, failed the course. Right, so my attendance was like 23%. I failed the course, but fast forward, I'm the only one who I went to college with.
Oh, that actually got a job.
Who not only got a job, but like I still do graphic design.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But also I went to uni for 6 months, dropped out. No. Doing advertising design because I was already getting paid. I was already being a graphic designer. I was like 22 when I went to uni.
So was I actually 22. Exactly.
Yeah, quite late. But but my point being is that the education, I know what I wanted to do. I always wanted to have my own business. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to do these things. I just happened to find a skill that helped me do that. Yeah. But the education system wasn't built for people like me, that I'm fidgety. And unless I'm interested, I don't care. Yeah. Like, as in like, not like, oh yeah, I can sit. I don't care. I'm out.
Mental gone.
And I'm not, mentally gone. It's because in my mind, it was like, when I went to college, 6 months into college, I got my first graphic design gig where I made like a Six Nations flyer for a nightclub.
Oh, really?
Someone asked me if I could do it. I was like, yeah. I'd learned Photoshop 2 months ago. Photoshop, you don't even make posters on Photoshop, but I did anyway. And my point being is that I was like, okay, I'm learning skills. How do I utilize them? And I need to utilize them as fast as possible in the real world to make money. Because I had no money. I was poor, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, done that. Now I'm networking. I'm 19. Now I'm networking, right? So this person, this person owns a nightclub. They've got a friend who owns that nightclub. Let me speak to them. Oh, I can make your posters for this event. Yeah. Before you knew it, I was making all of the designs for Cardiff.
Nice.
Every nightclub, every restaurant, blah, blah, blah. Whilst my attendance was 22%. I'm still in college, but I'm out there trying to make money because in my mind, it's like skill, money. Yeah. Skill, business.
Yeah.
And so I had no interest in, I want neither the core information, basic, but as soon as I realized how to learn, like how to use. Okay, so they're teaching me Photoshop and they're showing us how to make a magazine. If I take this skill and adjust it and I make the posters bigger, it's the same elements. Yeah. So now I need to practice those elements, but now they're trying to teach me graffiti artists. I don't care about graffiti artists because I'm very much focused on this element. Yeah. So and it's the same. It's why I like. You dip in and
out when it's relevant.
Exactly. So I like learning in a way that like this is super important to me right now. So I'm going to focus my attention here, and I'm going to try and make that a reality. As opposed to like, well, now you've got to learn about the history of graphic design and if you put a twig on the floor and it, but I don't care about that because I'm trying to turn this into profit.
Money, yeah.
And so my grades always fail, and it was why I failed school. I didn't know what I wanted to be. Yeah. I just knew I wanted to be successful.
Nobody knows what they want to be from
school. I had no idea.
It's ridiculous.
And the same as when I went to uni, it was like I was doing graphic design. I'd be doing it for a few years, but I didn't know I was going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And so all of those things were very much the way I learn. It's like I take, which is why I like modern, like choosing your education and investing into yourself and into mentorship programs is because it's not like, here's your curriculum. Yeah. And on Tuesdays, we learn this. And on Wednesdays at 3:00, we do this. And you have double algebra. Like, no, it's not that. It's like you take what you need, the information that's relevant to you, and you try and put it into practice. And okay, that didn't work. Let me just speak to someone quickly. Okay, now readjust. And that style of education works perfectly for me. That's like, I think anyway, that how all education should be, but it isn't. We're in a box with 32 other people.
I'm going to have to wrap this up in a second because I've just spotted the time, but
is it bad?
It's 2:45. Pick my daughter up in 15 minutes.
45 minutes since we last looked at the time.
But what I was just thinking was on the education thing is that, like, I don't believe in the school system in general, right? So that's another thing that I agree with Samuel. So Samuel outwardly talks about all this stuff. I try to keep my opinions to myself on that. But I know full well my daughter's not going to high school. I'm putting her through primary school so she can learn to read, write, English, maths, whatever, till year 6. Find out what she's good at, what she wants to do, not what she wants to do, what she likes doing, what subject she likes doing. And then, like you're saying, honing in on the bits that not only is she good at, not that she, like, English, she's going to need English, so she will continue to do English. That's a given, right? I personally wanted to learn Spanish, so that's happening. I'm going to pick and choose a little bit.
I wish someone forced me to learn a language.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I was like, long story, but that's a story for another day. We ain't got time. So those two, English and Spanish, are a dead cert. Whatever she's good at then, numbers she needs, but I think a basic understanding with a calculator nowadays is more than enough. Yeah. She doesn't need to know angles and shit. Yeah. It's unnecessary.
Especially when it comes to property, there's only a few equations you need to lock in.
Well, this is it, right? But the other thing is, I'm not going to force her to do property either. Yeah. I think she probably will. Yeah. Because she'll want to work with me because she's already involved. Yeah. She's already learning stuff.
She's at every viewing. Yeah.
She's at every viewing. Yeah. She can talk about lease option in its basic form, but she can talk about lease option. I'm doing what I call Willow on a Wednesday.
Love that.
I put the first one out last Wednesday and I tagged Samuel in it. I was like, I think I'm going to call this segment Willow on a Wednesday.
Love that. Love that.
Got her own thumbnails and everything she has. But every Wednesday I'm just going to put a video out of my 5-year-old talking about property strategies. Mental. In the basic form. So if people wanted to learn, watch my daughter talk about it first because she'll tell you the basics.
If you can explain it to a child and then a child can explain it back to you, then it's the best form of education.
Do you know what she said about lease option? I said, baby, can you tell me what lease option is? She said it's when you rent a property, right? Save the money, right? And you have the option to buy it at the end. That's all she said.
Done.
Done. That's a lease option in
Explained.
3 lines.
Yeah. It's done.
To save the money that you make.
Yeah.
Option to buy it at the end. Done.
It's like, oh yeah.
I was like, you're a genius.
Cost me 12 grand to figure that out.
But honestly, she's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. But with the education system, I'm gonna hone in on the subject she's good at and the subject she wants to continue with, whilst
that's the key factor.
adding in financial education as a given,
financial literacy, all
she's
that.
She's gonna learn all that growing with me though, anyway.
Yeah.
So I haven't announced this at all. My house right now is a holiday let. I haven't told anyone that, but I haven't publicly told anyone. I have a lot of land with that house, as you know. We were going to run it as an SA because we need cash flow right now, right? So I was like, look, I'll take the hit. We'll run it as a service accommodation. And every time it gets booked, me and my daughter and our dogs jump in the caravan. I've got a £3.1 million portfolio and it's continuously being added to. And I live in a fucking caravan most of the time. I'm all right with that. I'm a basic bitch. Like, I don't need shit. Like, I don't need stuff. Like, I've just downgraded all my stuff's in storage in here, actually. Like, all my stuff's being stored. We've got the clothes we need. She's allowed 2 teddies. We've got the 3 dogs with us. We've got dog food in there and stuff. And that's it. Right? And every time I go back to that caravan at the minute, because it's winter, it's not ideal, but every time I go back there, I'm like, not only is it boiling in here, and it's costing me fuck all to heat it, right? I don't pay anything for the water because it's tapped into the house, right? And the electric is.
Nice.
So the holiday let's paying for the electric and the water, and I'm just tapping into it.
Yeah.
I'm basic.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just basic. I can happily be basic. The only reason I want money is so I can travel more.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. I've lived in a caravan twice before on different occasions. First time was living on the dog sanctuary, where I was looking after all the dogs and stuff. Perfect. And the time before that was when I first moved to Cornwall to do my degree. I joined the course late. I was about 4 months late into the course. So I had to just get to Cornwall from Wales. So I just bought a caravan, hooked up in the caravan. I was in there for about 4 months while I found a rental.
Yeah,
right?
smart as hell.
Yeah. So I've lived in a caravan on a couple of occasions.
That also
I'm
goes
perfectly fine
to
with
your grit.
Yeah.
Like, when there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, but
we'll make it happen.
when I lived in the Spanish one, in the caravan on the side of a mountain, we had no running water or anything.
Yeah.
Me and my I was gonna say partner at the time, but me and the bloke that I was with out there, we used to have it's a bag. It's called a solar shower.
Yeah,
it's
I
a
know the
bag,
one. Yeah,
and you
yeah,
hook
yeah.
it on the side of the caravan. It heats
Some
up
holes.
with the sun.
Yeah.
And then it's got a tube off of it.
Yeah.
Right. We that was an upgrade actually. We started with a watering can.
Yeah.
We'd leave the watering can full out, a couple of watering cans, let that heat up in the sun all day, and then we'd be pouring each other with water. I don't give a crap. I don't need stuff. Like, when you see me in a dress or makeup or dressing up for an event, that's not my normal neutral self.
Yeah.
I dog hair, dirt, like just picking up shit all the time. That's my natural state.
Yeah. Do you know what? That'll get you so far. I think we're in such a bad place when it comes to like having to keep up with the Joneses, as they say.
Yeah,
like buying all these nice things, blah blah blah. It's like, no, life isn't about just like having nice. It's nice to have nice things, right? It's nice, it's lovely. At the same time, if you can go as long as possible while having what you have, and maintain your lifestyle, you go far.
And some more holidays.
And some more holidays. Yeah, some more holidays.
That's my main thing. As long as I can see the world and take my daughter with me, that I'm happy with that.
I'm the same.
Yeah, like, I just don't need it.
Yeah.
But it is very weird going from a very lovely £500,000 house to
a very lovely.
It's really nice. So when I got back in the caravan, I was like, oh, this is gonna be shit. Like, I was a bit negative about it. I was like, I'll do what I got to do for the company. I don't care. And I don't care. But I was like, this sucks. Like, this definitely sucks. And then I got in there and I was like, actually, there's a couple of things. I'm enjoying having my dogs on top of me again. Because we weren't, like, they were kennelled and stuff in, with the land, and so they weren't in the house. So I missed the cuddles and stuff like that. And I haven't got to worry about them messing up my £500,000 house, £600,000 house.
Yeah.
All I've got to worry about messing up now is a shit caravan.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, we'll reupholster some cushions. Like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
They can't mess up the caravan.
Yeah.
It's an old caravan. I don't care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've got the dogs with me now.
Love that.
It's lush.
Love that.
You should come and see my caravan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't made a big announcement or anything about the caravan because I just think, like, people expect more of me now because I've got a big portfolio and that. But actually, I don't really give a crap.
I think that's for me. That's more important than someone with a big portfolio. Like, and I'll just give you one example. The guy who I met, who then led me on to this business opportunity that I have.
Yeah.
The reason I resonated with him is he's the guy who I work with. That's his mentor.
Right.
And the reason I resonated is because this guy, it wasn't because he's doing really well and he's doing loads of deals and he's constantly doing like buy-to-lets and stuff, like renovations, big projects. It wasn't that. It was the first year that he said he really, really struggled and he did nothing in his first year. And from that turning point was game changing. Now, the game changer stuff is what it's like, okay, I need to speak to him. But the main reason is because he was real enough to go up there and say, I struggled. And that's how you connect with people.
Yeah.
It isn't about the Lamborghinis and blah, blah. It's the reason why Andrew Tate's so successful. It's not because he was born into money and you're like, oh yeah, he's got all this, blah, blah. It's because he started from nothing and now he's something.
Yeah.
And that's what people relate to.
I even like, actually, even Andrew Tate, I even like the fact that he works with his brother on that.
Yes, brilliant.
I love all of that. That's why Alex came on, my brother.
Yeah.
Was because I was just like, this is a family empire.
Yeah.
Like, and so I already had that mentality before Andrew Tate came on.
And it also goes back to, like, we think that we are the only people that should be like, I'm going to grind, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get it done. When in reality, the only way you get things done is with a team. The only way you get things done is with people, whether it's one person or 50, you work with people to get things done. It's not individuals. Individuals can lead, but to get, a ship doesn't sail with one person.
Well, we have to go pick Willow up. Yeah. I have to go pick Willow up. But I was just thinking, you should come and have a look at the camera.
Yeah?
You ready for the dogs to jump on you, though?
I'll be quick. I have to be very quick. Yeah, I have to be very quick. But I'm in.
Honestly, dogs, though. You prepared to be jumped on?
Yeah, I got boots.
You're wearing green, I mean.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
You know how they are.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I haven't seen him in ages, so it'd be nice to see him.
Well, Marshall's been having seizures, but that's just...
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll talk about that after the podcast. Yeah. Peace.
But thank you very much for coming, Drew. I love having you. I love being around you. I think that energy-wise, we've just been on Parsons the moment I met you, and your calmness, even though you're high energy, is a what's the word? Not a conflict. The opposite of a conflict is a.
The opposite of a love?
No, is a cooperative. Compatible. That'll do. That'll do for now. So we can move on.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
It's always been a compatible thing for us. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, and I see you talking to other people in events and stuff, and I'm like, that's my friend, that is.
Yeah.
Like,
Same.
I see you bubbling around, and I'm like, yeah, he's my mate.
Yeah.
Drew, my good friend, Drew. See that guy over there, the super creative one that works in films? I was like, works with all those big famous people, Shannon Tatum, Tom Hardy, them lot, you know them. He's my friend. Yeah,
yeah, same. Exactly the same. I always make a joke, actually, only with people that know you. And I remember saying, it might have been Joseph. And I was like, the one thing I love about Narelle is you could be speaking to Narelle, and you're like chatting, blah, blah, and you turn around for a second, look at your phone, you go back, and she's over there chatting to someone else. And you're like, how does she do it? And you blink, and she's back in front of you. Like, anyway, as I was saying, you're like, what just happened? It's so impressive. Like, it's such a, you don't even know you're doing it.
No.
But your networking abilities are so impressive.
Really?
So impressive. Second to none.
Well, damn, I'll take that. Oh, no, honestly, mate. Right. I love having you. And I'm sure I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Clocking out. We have to go pick up my daughter.
Oh, wait, no, we have to do that. Bye.
Is this with
No, have you seen the video? I'll show you.
What the hell is that?
Bye. They'll get it.
Do we have the same audience?
Yeah, they'll get it. Like and subscribe, bollocks.
You know all that shit. Just go and like and subscribe. Make sure to like and subscribe. And subscribe. Did I say subscribe?
Also, importantly, like.
And subscribe. We'll put some other videos up here and here and here and here.
Oh, and follow.
Follow, like, and subscribe. And then go find my other social stuff, which I'll link below as well.
And then subscribe.
And like.